Hey everybody, this is Keith Gleason from Indie Comics Relay and also the creator of the Mighty Mascot and also the promoter for the Plastic City Comic Con that's happening July 16th, 2022 at the Wallace Civic Center in Fitchburg, Mass. So check out our website, plasticcity.com. All right, so I've come back with another video about creating your own Comic-Con. The last video, I talked about some of the prep that you need to do. If you haven't seen that, it'll be linked at the end of this video. And also, you could go on the Indie Comics Relay main page and find the playlist, because I'm going to put all of these videos in a playlist so you can just watch them all in a row. So this video, I'd like to talk about picking a date and other preliminary preparation you need to do for starting a Comic-Con. You know, we're heading into our 5th convention. Like, I haven't been able to do, I would have been on 7 by now if COVID didn't knock us out for the last 2 years. But this will be the 5th convention that we're heading into. So I thought I'd talk about a little bit about picking a date for a show. I mentioned in my last video that you want to kind of go, you want to kind of start a year or two ahead if you're planning on doing a convention, you know, for, you know, Comic-Con, because a lot of conventions already have their shows picked, you know, for the previous year. You know, they always have especially well-established shows have the same time frame every year mostly. You know, shows that have been around for years and years, like San Diego Comic-Con always has their show like the 3rd week of July in, you know, San Diego. Stuff like that. Terrific-Con is always at the end of July or early August. You know, Boston's like mid-August, things like that. So when you're picking your show, what you should look for is you should probably get on conventionscene.com, which I will show that if this stops blinking. You know, let's see. So maybe if we can do convention scene, you know, let's see, conventionscene.com. Yep, you want to go here. This is a great resource for you. I also, if you're going to do a convention, I would submit to them. There's all kinds of things you can do to, you know, to stand out on this site. There's all kinds of ads on the side here, things like that. If you go into their schedule calendar view and then look at, I think there's a way to look at this by a list view. Let me see. Oh yeah, go location. Let's see. I don't know, this all upcoming events. Here we go. And then go list view. And you can see every convention, when they're happening, where they're happening, you know, across the United States. You know, depending on where you are in the United States, you can, like up here in the Northeast, to give you an example, we don't generally have shows, you know, late December, and then usually don't have shows January, February, March, because the winter. And you don't want to pick a date a year ahead of time, and then the date rolls around and all of a sudden it's 10 inches of snow on the forecast and you have to cancel your show. You know, you'll be out of a lot of money. A lot of fans will be upset. Or if you even do decide to throw it, your attendance is not going to be good. You know, a lot of people don't go out in the snow for that. So you'll see up in the Northeast, we get a lot of shows, you know, from April on. You know, another thing you want to avoid is holidays, major holidays, you know, like as you're getting into this, you know, Memorial Day, you know, 4th of July, Father's Day, things like that, that people are not going to go to convention. You might, I mean, I think Heroes Con does their show on Father's Day weekend, but they've established that weekend for years and years. So I mean, you could try it. I mean, I don't recommend it, but you could try and grow an audience on these shows. Like we have a show up here that does, does 4th of July weekend. The few times I've done it, it does, there doesn't seem to be as many people as there could be. It depends. It really depends. If you build the audience for those dates, you could, eventually make it work. You know what I mean? But a lot of people, like even in early summer is not a good time to really do a show. Like May and June tend to be, kids just get out of school. There's summer vacations, and a lot of people, especially up here in the Northeast, a lot of people are just enjoying the summer for the first couple of months. They want to be outside. They don't want to be at a show necessarily. Although there has been shows. So like I said, this is like, whatever works for you. I'm just going to give you my take on it. So like with Plastic City, we've had great success at the end of July, but you also want to get on a site like this and you want to look over other shows in your area that are happening, because you do not want to be on the same weekend as a show that's happening, 50 miles away or whatever, so like when I put my date together, I often make sure that I'm not butting heads with Terrificon or like Boston Comic Con or Boston Fan Expo. And there's a couple other shows, like there's a new one that's coming to Massachusetts soon, Springfield Comic Con. So I try to, look around, try to pick a date. The other thing that's challenging with my convention is that we do it at a place called Wallace Civic Center, which is a hockey rink. So during the winter months, there's ice on the hockey rink. And during the summer months, there's like 3 months where there's no ice on the rink. It goes from April to, I believe, early August. And, that's when we have to do the show, is when the ice is on there, because we tried to do it in April one time. And it wasn't, we did okay, but like the ice had just come off, off the rink, and it was super cold down there because that concrete holds the ice in. So you get really cold. And a lot of I felt bad, but a few of the vendors got colds and, things like that. And everyone had their jackets on and freezing down there. So I felt bad about that. So so with my show, I can only do like June, July, and maybe the first 2 weeks of August. So unless I get a new location, if I go to a hotel, I have a lot more options. But even hotels, you got to be careful because there's peak months with weddings and things like that. Like depending on the hotel, like sometimes hotels, just have a function room and it's not really a destination place for weddings. But the one that's near us in Leominster is just one of those nice Hiltons with like tons of like wedding stuff that happens there, because it's really top of the line hotel in the area. So trying to get a date and a time there is a little difficult. So yeah, just start thinking in like those kind of things. Look at your area, make sure there's no other shows nearby or within the same weekend that you're doing it. Another thing that you need to check out is you would want to take a look at your town's activity calendar to make sure that you're not doing your show on like a weekend that has like the Apple Festival happening, like over here in Leominster, we have like the Johnny Appleseed Festival. It's like a huge downtown party where everybody goes down there to drink apple cider and eat like homemade goods and things like that. So you definitely don't want to hit, because you'll get comic fans, but you won't get those other random people from your town that might check it out. So you want to maybe join your town's Facebook page, or even go to City Hall and talk to them and see what the event calendar is in your city and town. So that's my two things: avoid other shows try to find a date. If you have weather issues like snow, like we do up here, you kind of want to avoid those months. The worst thing that you could do all this work and then have to cancel because you get snowed out. That would suck. So, um, and then just check your town activities. And then the next thing I would say is actually go to City Hall, talk to the mayor's office, tell them what you're planning. Tell them you're planning on doing a show. I know my experience with the Leominster City Hall here has been nothing but a pleasure. They're all for it. They like, City Hall likes when something like this happens because it does bring in an economy boost to the area, especially restaurants and, things like that. So they're willing to help you out, like whether it be, just helping with locations and signage and things like that. Sometimes they can set up sponsorship, and sometimes you can find out what the local festivities are, local activities, and get a table there and promote your show, which we've done. We've done that at several events in the city. So that's all kinds of stuff to think about. And also, while you're there, you can find out if you have any, if the town has any guidelines, like, do you have to, notify the fire department? Do you have to, you may want to even find out from the venue that you're going to choose, what the fire code is, what, how many people, like if it's a hotel, a function room usually has a limit, depending on how many people you got coming in and out, you may have to police that a little bit. Another thing, like we had to, like when we moved to the hockey rink in the Civic Center, we had to contact Fitchburg, which is the next town over. It's technically in their neck of the woods. And there's a whole different rules with that. Like we have to, have a security guard on site. And we have to fill out, some kind of form that says, that the town, wants to, what you're selling and what kind of event you're throwing. You have to run this all through the process and just, make sure everything's cool. So you may want to do that because, like I said, Leominster didn't have a lot of that stuff. So, but every town is different. So, and you may run into a situation where your town is very strict on having events like this, especially now with COVID. It could be more of a difficult challenge to try and do a show, So, yeah, so that's one of the things I had on here. Go to City Hall, and pick your dates. Try to pick your dates. If you're thinking about doing a show, start now. So like say, we're into December, January right now. Say you want to throw a show in April or something, end of April, you got to think, also look for school vacations. That's a huge one. Sometimes school vacations can affect the show, whether sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad because people do take actual vacations and go away. Otherwise, if it's a town where no one really goes away, you could probably have it and it'd probably be better because those kids will be around and the parents will be around to take them, so stuff to think about, Also, I was going to say on this video, and then I'll end this for the episode, and I'll also show our website here. This is, plasticcity.com, which you can go and check out. What was I going to say? So when you're starting in this planning stage, once you have a date, the next thing you got to do is get the URL, and create a website for your convention. And I would say, and I mentioned this in the last video, do not make any kind of announcement until you have the URL in place and your website being built, because there is a lot of, and I don't know if this is everywhere in the world, but there is a lot of unscrupulous con promoters around that will try to screw you up and do different things to prevent the show from happening. So just be wary. You want to get every duck in a row before you make any kind of announcement. So get the URL, create the website, and then also if you have social media, you may want to create new social media profiles for the convention that's separate from your own personal stuff. So you may want to get a Twitter, you may want to get an Instagram, you may want to get a Facebook page, and you know, anything else that's cool. Like you may want to get TikTok, you know, I mean, that's something different. You want to get on LinkedIn, you know, things like that. That is always kind of cool, just to build a presence on social media, because you do need to promote. One thing that it's been very good for us is to create, once you have a Facebook page for the convention, create a separate event for the convention. Because I find that if people don't find your Facebook page, the event kind of shows up in their feed here and there. And if you're going to boost, you know, do Facebook, you know, ad boost and things like that, I often boost the actual event rather than the Facebook page, because the event is what people can, you know, hit, hey, I'm going to go for this, or put this in my calendar, that kind of thing. And you get that engagement. So also remember, whenever you make a post on Facebook, on the Facebook page, to actually go to the event page and make the post there as well, or share it from the Facebook page onto the event. Because like I said, you're going to have a lot of people that will follow the event, but may not have liked your Facebook page. So it's like almost like two audiences you got to think about in a lot of ways. And then, you know, whenever you make a post, you know, put it on Twitter as well and things like that. So, but yeah, that's sort of the basics for this one. I just wanted to, you know, let you know my thoughts on picking dates and other pre-prep that you need to do for the conventions. If you're liking these videos, let me know. Let me know if there's other questions, specific questions you have for starting a convention. I think my next video, I'll talk about some other things that you need in the pre-prep stage for a convention, you know, like forms you need and things like that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I will end this one for now. And like I said, if you haven't watched the first video I did last time, go check that one out as well. And then, yeah, comment, you know, let us know, like, subscribe, and, you know, share the page, anyone that could get some use out of this. All right. And then also comment, let me know questions. Let me know if you have specific questions about anything that we might have dealt with at, you know, our show in the last 4 or 5 years, and that how we dealt with it and things like that. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate the views, and we will talk to you later. Check out one of our live stream with some of our indie creator friends, with me and Johnny, or some of the other videos on the channel. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great week, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.